What is up, guys, and welcome back. Today I have something very special for you guys. I am going to be putting together a computer that I finished over Cyber Monday, buying all the parts for Cyber Monday, and they finally have come. I have waited far too long for all these components to come, and the shipping dates have got pushed back 3 times, I swear, 3 times. And it's now finally I got all my components and I'm ready to build. So the system I'm going to be building is going to be a Ryzen 3 1300X, and I'm going to have 8 gigs of RAM. I'm going to use the RX 580 from Power Color, and I got a A320 motherboard, not overclockable, but yeah, we're ready to build. So I've taken the motherboard outside of the box already, and I've taken the rear I/O shield out too. So we have everything that we need. We're going to start building. So we're going to grab our processor, the Ryzen 3, and we're going to lift up this retention arm. Carefully, don't over bend it. It should be just horizontal or vertical, sorry, and just don't over bend it. And then we're going to grab our processor, and on our processor there's going to be a golden triangle. If you know anything about computers, every processor has a golden triangle, and you're supposed to match it up with a motherboard. So here is the golden triangle, and there should be a golden not a golden triangle, but a triangle on the motherboard. So you just want to match that up, and on this motherboard the triangle is on this corner right here, so I'm going to just line it up. And it should just, for AM4 motherboards, it should just pop in like that. It'll just sink in, and just give it a quick little wiggle, and all you need to do is just push down the retention arm, and then the processor is installed. Next, what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to grab the heatsink for that processor. Depending on what type of heatsink you're going to be using, if you're going to be using aftermarket one, or you're going to be using a stock one like we are. The motherboard comes pre-installed with these little brackets, and we're just going to want to take them off because they are preventing us from putting or installing the heatsink on. So we'll take these screws off real quick. Yeah, if I can. So your stock fans, your stock heatsinks will have pre-applied thermal paste. Obviously this one doesn't, because I have used this one before. So if you just took it out of the box, you don't need to put more thermal paste on it, but for the sake of this heatsink, I will put more on. So we're going to grab our thermal paste, and we're going to put a grain of rice or a pea, depending on how you guys like to do it. I think that is good enough. So put that back, and then now we're gonna install the heatsink. I'm just trying to figure out how I want to put it on. No, this way. So we're just gonna line it up, and we're gonna start screwing it down. Do the star method. Start screwing that one in, and then go back here to this one. I'll show you. Go back to this one, and then go to this one. Hopefully it's screwing down, and then go all the way to this corner. Start screwing this in. Yeah, it looks to be in. And then go back to the first one, which is the first one that you did. Start screwing that in. And at this point, you can just continue to screw them down. When you hear that cracking noise, that's good. That's a good sign. That means just the springs are working. Okay, 3 of them are down, and now we just gotta worry about this last one. Okay, once they stop, don't keep going. It just, yeah, they're screwed in if it just stops. And so now we're just gonna plug it, the header in to that CPU fan header. I don't like how this wire is, but for the sake of this video, let's just leave it like that. I don't think if I turned it the other way, it would have been way too long. It would have been interfering with our RAM sticks. So now we're going to install the RAM. So I got this Giel the Skeel stuff. It's meant for Ryzen, which is kind of BS, but it's 8 gigs of 2400 megahertz, I believe. So it's not the fastest, but it will gain, that's for sure. Let me get it out. And here we are. So these memory modules, they're keyed. One side is longer than the other one, as you can see, and you're just going to want to line it up with the motherboard, and then you're going to want to pull these tabs back when you're going to install the memory. So just line it up with the motherboard. It should be fine. Press firmly until you hear it click. It will require a little bit of pressure, that's for sure. But don't go over the top. So those are installed. Next, I will install the M.2 drive, which will go right here. So your motherboard should come with, if it supports M.2, it should come with some screws for that. And all we gotta find is the screw. Here it is. And now we just screw it down into place. Don't over tighten it. Get it snug and you're good. So next, I think what we're gonna do is we're going to install the power supply unit to this case. So as you can see, the power supply unit goes up here and the motherboard goes right here. Before we install the motherboard, we're going to have to install the standoff screws. But first we're going to install the power supply unit, so we're going to do that next. So since there's no ventilation on the top, we're going to have to put the power supply, I don't know if you can see that, but the power supply fan facing down towards the motherboard, so that's what we're going to do. So we're going to just install this real quickly. Ooh, I really don't like this. Okay, we're gonna have to get the bag of screws that the motherboard comes with, or sorry, the case, the screws that the case comes with. So I just got the little screw bag that came with the case. I keep saying motherboard. I don't know what I'm talking about. It's been a long day. And we're just gonna find 4 of these screws to install the PSU, the power supply unit. Find 4 of them. There we go. So take our screwdriver and our screws and start screwing this power supply in. This is really weird. So I don't want to screw them down all the way quite yet. Let's get them close. This is strange. They're not going in all the way. I don't like that. Are they specific? No, it doesn't look like it. So I'm gonna pop this up. Hopefully you guys can see that. This case is kind of cheap. I'm assuming the power supply is too. It's a Roswell 80 plus certified, but it's a Roswell, so it's not going to be that good. But it'll get the job done. It's 80 plus bronze certified, so that's good, and it's a 550 watt. So I got it on sale or refurbished, quite frankly, for around 35 bucks, which is not a bad deal for 550. And then we're just gonna screw this last one in. It's so timid, just doesn't want to go in. Feels like these threads from the power supply aren't threaded properly, and I gotta work at it. There we go. Power supply is in. Next, what we're gonna want to do is install the motherboard now. So what we're gonna want to do next is we're gonna want to install the rear I/O shield. So just remember that the audio stuff is supposed to face down, so we're gonna face it down on this. And we're just gonna install it real quick. And it's all about feel until you hear it snap in, which I believe it's already snapped in, and now we gotta install. Oh, this is annoying. I don't know where to put this for right now. Just leave it like that. Take this off. Good. Now we're going to install the standoffs for this motherboard. Hopefully it came with like a standoff screw. I hope so. Oh, neat. We got a little speaker thing for our motherboard. So we're going to install that when we put install our motherboard. So I'm just installing the standoffs. All the standoffs are installed. Now what we're going to want to do is grab our motherboard and then gently let's install it. It's a tight fit in this case. I think we're golden. Lined up quite well. But making sure that all of your ports on the back end of the I/O are properly fit in, because sometimes if you don't, you'll get like something stuck in the HDMI thing or something else. But I think all of that is in, and we are ready to go. So we're going to continue to install the motherboard by screwing it in. Hopefully. I don't know how this is going to work. So we have 1, 2, 3, 1 all the way down here, 4, and then 5 and 6 screws to install. I'm going to install those real quickly and I'll get right back to you guys. Just a quick note, your front I/O power connectors, or the connectors that plug into your motherboard, you're going to have to consult your motherboard for that. I just installed them as I was installing the screws to secure the motherboard, but just remember, once you get to this stage with all these random cables, just consult your motherboard and it'll tell you where to plug these in. So I think what we're gonna do next is we're gonna plug everything in, all the small little knickknacks. Like this fan we're gonna install to the motherboard, fan header. So we're gonna install it right here. That's installed. We're gonna take this. And this is our audio jack, our front audio. Yep, HD audio, and this is our USB. I don't know if, yeah, you can't really see that because it won't focus, but USB. So what we're gonna do is actually, I'm gonna fish this underneath these cables. So let's fish them. So, okay. Come on. Oh, it won't reach. Are you kidding me? Our front HD audio won't reach. So we're gonna have to take probably the front panel off. We're probably have to take the front panel off and then redirect it into another channel, something like this. But let's quickly install the USB one because I feel confident that this will fit. Yeah, so remember that the USB is keyed. So you see the one on the right, the top right, it doesn't have a little square. We're gonna want to fit that in with the USB header, one of these white ones. You're gonna have to again consult your manual to see where your USB headers are. So I can't see. In this case, does not have 3.0 USB 3.0, so we won't be plugging that in, unfortunately. But we do have USB 3.0 on the back of our case or our motherboard right here. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna start installing all of the big power supply units, which are these things right here. So we're actually gonna grab this guy first, and we're gonna install this one. So again, almost everything in a computer is keyed. This is keyed in a certain way. You can see that there are squares, and I can't, my hand's not going straight. There are squares and there are different shaped things inside of this this motherboard power supply cable. And what we're going to want to do is we're actually want to plug this guy into the +4 into the motherboard. So we're going to actually do that right now. And then you see how that little clip is right there? We're going to match it with the clip on the motherboard, which is right here. You can feel that. Now hopefully you guys can see that too. But the clip is right there. So we're just going to install this real quick. Give it a good little push, and it's installed. And this case has no space for cable management, so we're just gonna start tucking. We're gonna start tucking things. Actually, I'm gonna tuck this. Hopefully, right there. Hopefully, that'll stay just like that. So, next, we're gonna grab the CPU. I can find it. Is this CPU? It looks like it. Okay, yeah. This is our CPU. So, you can see this is keyed again. It has two little clips. It's divided 4 and 4. If you use a very cheap motherboard, you're probably only going to have to use one. But if you have a decent motherboard, you're going to have to use both of these, all 8 of these pins. And again, it's keyed where it has 2 little clips, and you're going to need to clip it in right here. Hopefully you guys can see right here, and there's a little spot where that clip goes. So let's plug those in right now. It's hard to see because my hand needs to be tucked in there. So that one's plugged in, and now I gotta plug in the second one. Sorry. Okay, those are both plugged in now. We're gonna end up just kind of tucking this in right here, and then next, we don't need any of these SATA power cables, so we're just going to end up tucking these right now because we don't have any optical drives, we don't have any hard drives, we just have that M.2, we don't have any SSDs, we just have that M.2, so we're just going to tuck these items away. I'll put you down right here for a steady view. So I'll tuck all of them except for our graphics card. Oh wait, I do need a Molex for that fan down there. This is so damn long though. Jeez. So I'm just gonna plug this in real quick. It doesn't need much explanation how to install a Molex, and Molexes are key as well. It's pretty obvious. So yeah, we got that plugged in, so that's plugged in. And let's start. Yeah, here we go. This case does not have any side panel for the computer case, and so cable management doesn't need to look too pretty. But again, I don't have much room for cable management, so please be lenient on that. I know there's people who are pretty uptight about their cable management. But what I think I'm going to do next is I'm going to install the graphics card. But first, what we're going to need to do before we install the graphics card is take out these little, I don't know what to call them, but covers for the motherboard. So we're going to need to actually install, you see how the PCIe Express is right here, and then we're going to have to take out this one. Just wiggle that. So these cheap cases, you just kind of bend them back and then you break them off. And since we have a 2-slot card, we're going to have to do the same thing for the second one. And just wiggle it off until it comes off. There we go. Okay, those are taken off. Now I think it's time to install the graphics card. So let's grab that real quick. I have it with me. Oh, but these cables are getting in the way. Just move them up to the side. Grab that graphics card again. Trying to position it with one hand. You can only do so much with one hand, I swear. Here we go. Make sure that's... and then we're just gonna slide it in, hopefully. I hope it is in. I believe so. Okay, I believe it is in. Sorry for the camera movement. But now we are going to install the graphics card now with using the screws. I'm actually going to double check to see if this is properly installed, because I don't know if I did a right job. I don't like the sound that it's making either, but it is what it is. Where's my screwdriver? I swear I keep losing it. Here it is. So we're going to install it right here. There is no space for this graphic. Oh my gosh, almost did it again. Come on, I know you want to go in. I know you want to go in. There you go. Okay, that one is in, and now we need one more. Okay. So you guys can view. Yeah, you guys can see it. Good. That's so interesting. They have spot right here for 2.5-inch drive for an SSD right here. That's interesting. Yeah, you can see it. But yeah, this is how much room we have for the graphics card to breathe. That's not good whatsoever. So I was able to get all of this tied down. It's not looking that pretty, but it will do. And then I got all these cables kind of routed through here. It looks kind of bad, but again, I don't have much room to work with this computer, so I just kind of have to tuck everything into either this or this little bay. So, but I managed to get the front HD audio plugged in down there, if you can see that. I got that plugged in, and it's ready to boot. So we're gonna turn this thing on. And look at that, guys. It booted right up. Obviously, I took the M.2 from a previous system, so it booted up into Windows right away. But if you have a blank, or if you bought a new storage drive, whether it be a hard drive or an SSD M.2, you're gonna want to grab one of these, install Windows on it, and then you're gonna have to plug this into your computer, and then when you first start it up, run this, and then you'll boot into Windows, and then you'll create your Windows. You don't need a key to have Windows right off the bat. What it'll just do, it'll just say like you need to activate Windows, and you won't be able to change in your background. But that's pretty much it.